Hello, I'm Robin Bresnark, the Brand and Creative Director at Buyapowa. Welcome to Referral Marketing MVPs, where it's my privilege to speak to some of the people at the coalface of referral marketing, the real people who make it happen. Over the course of this series, we're going to speak to lots of different people, lots of different brands. We'll ask them how they got into referral, why they chose it, what they've learned, what mistakes they made, where they see referral going in the future. It's great fun. We've had some incredibly interesting and insightful chats with people. I think you're going to really enjoy it. So, particularly if you're thinking of trying referral for the first time, or maybe you've been doing it for a while, but you've kind of hit a plateau, this is masterclass stuff. So back, enjoy, and stay tuned to our channel where there'll be more of these over the coming weeks and months.
I'm Katie Brooks and I'm the Junior Propositions Manager at toob. And the main part of my role is managing the Refer a Friend scheme.
Having someone directly responsible for a referral program, someone who can say, the main thing I do is awesome. And not always the case, increasingly the case with our clients because, give advice and people take the advice and it really helps. But you kind of wouldn't have like your programmatic marketing without someone to run it. But sometimes people do sort of think that things like referrals, like it's a bolt-on, and it can be. But, and it's one of the reasons we want to speak to you today, the hope is that it's a little bit more than that, right?
Yeah, we really wanted to give it the time and attention that it deserved because we recognized how important it is. It's an order channel, really. So kind of making the partnership with Buyapowa and all the time we put into getting it set up, we then didn't want to just let it kind of fall by the wayside. We wanted to do continuous improvement. And we've had a relationship with you guys for over a year now. And that dedicated time has really embedded Refer a Friend as the order channel exactly how we wanted it to be. So it's definitely paid off having someone like me dedicated to it all the time.
Yeah. So you guys had a program before, I should probably say, because, for the sake of anyone watching, full disclosure, the magnificent toob are a Buyapowa client. Not always the case with these videos, because I like to speak to people that are clients and people that aren't clients, because, wonderful learning pot. But toob are one of our favorite and most beautiful clients.
Good.
Wasn't always the case though, right? So you guys had a program before you started working with us.
Yes, yeah. So we knew we wanted to have a Refer a Friend scheme. So we built a process where it would be our new customer inputting the details for them and their referrer. And then there would be a team that manually processed all the referrals that came in. They were manually checking eligibility. We were buying vouchers directly from Amazon and emailing them to the customer. And it was kind of, we didn't have like the manpower to do more than that. And now that we've got over 100,000 customers, it definitely wasn't like a scalable process at all. So then we kind of had a look at who was out there to help us automate more than anything. And we found you guys.
Perfect. It's not always a bad idea for people to start off by themselves and kind of figure it out and figure out what they need. I think when you're looking for suppliers in anything, it's easy. Everyone says, oh, we're the best and we can do all of these things. And it's like, but you kind of need to know what are the things for our business where we've struggled before? What are our actual pain points? And I think a lot of people won't understand that, yeah, you can do quite a bit of this yourself, I suppose. But when it comes to manual reconciliations off spreadsheets for hundreds of thousands of people, it's like, no.
And it wasn't just I'm talking about like the automating. It wasn't just for us, it was for customers as well. So we didn't have the ability to email customers to say that we'd collected their referral. We didn't have the ability to email them to say your voucher's on the way. So that was a massive draw when we found your company, all the emails that you send out, not only to do with the vouchers, but the nurture emails that we could send to people as well. So we were improving the process not only for us and saving a lot of time and work, but also giving customers a much better Refer a Friend scheme that we could offer them for. Now they can log onto their dashboard and check their referrals themselves, or it'll only be like I don't know, the next day that they'll be picking up the phone to ask where their voucher is, and an email's already in their inbox telling them exactly where it is. So yeah,
Right.
just so much improved for the customer.
Perfect. Good. I love hearing that kind of thing. What did you learn about the actual transition process from something that you kind of built or cobbled together yourself to going to a supplier? Is there, um, it's something that a lot of people might do once,
Yeah.
but probably aren't going to do multiple times. Hopefully, if they pick a good supplier. So I think most people go into that a bit green. So is there any kind of experience or advice for that transition that you could pass on to anyone?
So we really mapped out what our current process was, and really nailed down what all the pain points were. So not only for us, but also for our customers, what feedback they'd given us on the process, even that like it was a shame we were only limited to Amazon vouchers before was something that we took into consideration. Um, and then I think you just need to weigh up how much time you're spending on this versus how much time you could be spending on other things, because time is your most valuable resource of all. Um, and we really just took a lot of advice and guidance from the team that helped us to do the integration in the first place. You guys are very clearly experts in your field. So when we brought to you kind of how we imagined it to work, improving on our existing process, you gave us a lot of guidance on kind of how your system could help with things that maybe we'd not even thought of in the first place. So I think my advice would be kind of trust in the experts, because they really do know what they're
Right.
doing.
Right. Can you think of any specific things where one of our team was like, have you thought of doing this?" And you were like, "No, hadn't even begun to think about that."
So I think vouchers is a really good example, actually. So we always went into our partnership with you thinking like, we'll only do Amazon vouchers because that's all we'd really done before. It's all we knew. And we knew that it worked because people were happy with it. But I think definitely our customer success manager a couple of times kind of asking us over and over again, do you think you might want to try adding some new vouchers? Like, other customers see a lot of success with new and additional voucher options. It gave us the confidence to then think, actually, it might be a draw into our refer a friend scheme, which we hadn't thought of before. We'd always thought of it as this kind of at the end point when you get to pick what your reward is going to be, what people would like the most, but we'd never thought of it in the way that she was talking about as a draw into the scheme. So that was really, it was great to have someone kind of give us that confidence that it was a good thing to do to help us improve our performance. Toob is always been a very like affordable product. So our core demographic would maybe be interested in supermarket vouchers, because what a nice treat to be able to spend your voucher on your weekly shop and contribute towards it. So that was those are like some voucher options that we have. We've got Tesco and Asda to try and appeal to our core demographic. So it's the other end of the scale, really, to try and accommodate to all our customers, so everyone has something that they're interested in.
That's actually just as good a point, isn't it? Like, so for me personally, I want something out of the
Mm.
ordinary. For other people, they might want, well, you know what? I'm actually finding it hard to get my weekly shop every week. Help me with the thing I care about.
Exactly.
Yeah, brilliant. Um, so you've you've got a really I was kind of having a little look over the numbers, and I'm not gonna disclose any of the numbers
Mhm.
because that's all highly confidential and private, but they're quite good, and we're broadly happy. One thing that I liked is there's a really good ratio between the number of active referrers you have and the number of friends that they each bring
Yeah.
in, which is key. And, like, if you can get that sorted, what it means is your program will always be great,
Yeah.
providing you fill the top of the funnel, right? That's really, really all it takes. So I think it's all about sort of maximizing that. Like, when people share, do their friends come in?
Yeah.
They do. That means it
Yeah.
works, right?
Yeah.
Fundamentally, it works. Um, what kind of measures have you guys taken though to get more people in at the tops and get more of those people sharing,
Mhm.
which is ultimately then just going to trickle down into all of those good numbers at the end?
Yes. So we know that about 1 in 3 of our referrers brings in a customer. We know about 2/3 of our referrers are active referrers, so they're actively sharing their links. And we had a look at the time differences between when a referrer has registered to when their friend has signed up, and then when their friend orders, to really understand what that journey's like. And we found that we're most likely to get a new customer through refer a friend where there's a really short gap in time between a referrer registering and a friend ordering, which suggested to us that actually these people are having conversations before they even have shared their link about toob. They're talking about broadband and the refer a friend scheme, knowing that their friends are ready to buy. So it's really great to know that we've got like ambassadors within our customer base talking about us. But we didn't just want to fill the top of the funnel. We wanted to close the loop. So when you get to the rewarded stage of our scheme, when we're rewarding referrers, we're reminding them to share again and refer another friend. We recently expanded on the City Fibre network as well. So now we know that we are available in like a cluster of towns together. Previously, kind of when we very first started, we targeted Southampton because it was where toob began, and we did a mailer there to let everyone know. So like you say, you'd be referring like your neighbours that literally live down the road from you. But now we've expanded, now you can refer friends in towns that probably heard about toob but weren't able to become a customer yet, or now they can, and why not become a customer through refer a friend? One of our company values is trust, and we find that we have really good trust with our customers to be ambassadors of ours, and like you say, go and tell their friends. And we just want to give back to our customers. Hopefully we're already giving them great service, but then this is like an additional bonus of being a customer. But actually our scheme is open to non-customers as well. So we know that there are maybe like 2 neighbours in a town, and in one street toob is available and in another it's not. Even in the street where toob isn't available, they can still become a referrer as well. So if their friend wants to buy on the street where toob is available, we're building a relationship with both people, one not yet able to become a customer and one that happily can. And then they're kind of, they're getting that trust from us before they've even experienced our service through our refer a friend scheme.
The fact that anyone can be a referrer is one of 10 things that are. I don't usually do this because I'm not by nature a mumbling sycophant. I am a little bit with you guys because I looked at your program like, well, it's nothing's ever perfect, right? But my God, they've done so many of the things I bang on about all the time. It's like, yes, 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 yes. So I wouldn't usually do this, but I want to do this just with this video, which is I want to go through 10 things I saw when I looked at your program that made me do a big smile.
Okay.
And the first of those is that. The first of those is the fact that anyone can be a referrer. You would be amazed how many companies don't go for that. And I can understand why, because it feels disingenuous. Like, how can you be an advocate if you haven't actually used the product yourself? The comeback to that is I don't wear lipstick. But I've spent an awful lot of my time with people who do. My partner may wear lipstick and may go, this particular lipstick, it stays on the lips better than anything else and goes on smoother. So I've heard an awful lot about it. And so if I'm speaking to another female friend of mine who's going, oh, I really want to try a new lipstick brand, I can easily say, Maggie over there, right? But I'm not a customer.
Yes.
But I may still be educated enough that I can be an advocate.
Or like previous customers, so people who, especially before our expansion, maybe we would have customers that would move out of area, so they didn't want to leave, but we weren't available where they were going. Yet we probably are now. But at least they could refer their friends if they knew they were moving into an area where toob was available. So we still maintain that relationship even if they can't be a customer of ours anymore.
Exactly that. And of course, it's another great way of keeping them sort of in the
Yes,
family
absolutely.
for that period when they are
Yeah.
lapsed. Right, that's number one. It's a really good number one though, because um, because like I was saying before, filling that top of the funnel, getting as many people being referrers as possible, everything springs from that. So blocking it is kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face sometimes. Um, I'll go through them all. So many USPs on the referrer page, and I love this. Um, so I'll probably get to it in a second. So the page the friend lands on,
Yeah.
of course, unique selling points, that is a sales page,
Yeah.
right? But so is the referrer dashboard.
Mhm.
So are the emails that you send to referrers to inspire them to refer.
Yeah,
Those are selling pages too. You're selling them on selling their friends.
absolutely.
And if you don't give them the tools that they need and the messages that they might want to think about sharing, what you find is a lot of people go, I don't really know how to explain to my cousin why they should change.
Mm.
Like, give them 5 reasons.
Yeah.
They can pick the 3 that really resonate and focus on those. But listing those USPs on that side of things as well is quite rare.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Toob is very customer focused. So we wanted to build that page, like you say, as a tool for our referrers to go and talk about it to their friends. Because you can't always, you could say, oh, Toob is great. And when someone says why, you can't always put your finger on it. So we've given them the tools that they need to like facilitate those conversations and be our best ambassadors.
and also it's a case of reminding them that if you tell your friends about this, your friends aren't going to be annoyed with you,
Mm.
right? Like you're saying nice
Yeah.
things that maybe they didn't even know themselves. Oh wow, there are tuber available in all these places now. They weren't when I signed
Yeah.
up, but they are now, right? And so I don't feel bad telling all my friends now because I wouldn't have told them a year ago because most of them wouldn't have been in the right areas.
Mm.
But now it's okay, or
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
The scheme
right.
is built for our referrers and our friends. We want them to have the benefit. So yeah, absolutely. Giving them that information so they can make genuine referrals is the way that we want to do it.
So the other thing on the referrer side is you've got an FAQ
Yeah.
there, which is again not necessarily something that everyone does
Right.
because it should be quite and it is simple. Tell your friends, everyone gets a reward. That's great, but there probably are 10 little things
Yeah.
that if you can just answer them there or there and then, you just it takes away the blocker immediately. It's like, okay, now I'll refer. So it's a really simple little accordion
Mhm.
FAQ. It's not, mounted a text that you have to get through before you can do the
Yeah.
thing, but it's there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
another company value is being open and honest. So we really wanted people who were considering taking part in the scheme to kind of know what they were signing up for and see that it really is simple and it really is about like a benefit for people that want to bring new customers into Tube, kind of just as a thank you. The benefit is
Yeah.
there for them.
We sort of touched on it a little bit before where we were talking about the circle and sort of getting people to refer multiple times
Absolutely.
and getting their friends to become referrers. Another aspect of that is the fact that you don't have a cap. Um, and not only do you not have a cap, but you're really vocal about it. Like you properly shout it out. It's like you can refer as many friends as you want. It's not gracelessly done, but it's very, again, like you said before, it's very open.
Mhm.
It's very don't be ashamed,
Yeah.
guys. It's okay. You could do this more than once.
Yeah.
Um, I blow hot and cold on caps. Um, Sometimes I think that they can be quite useful in a sneaky psychology way,
Mhm.
sort of dark arts of the internet way. Like if you tell people refer up to 5 friends, then you're putting a marker in their head like, oh, five. Five's the normal thing. If I don't do 5, I'm subnormal and everyone's going to hate me. Right. So they try and do 5.
Yeah.
Whereas if you say unlimited, sometimes people don't have that, the stretch
Yeah.
target. in mind. So there is psychology for having a cat,
Mhm.
but in the case of a brand like yours, there is stronger psychology for having no cat at all.
Yeah,
But it has to be combined with a proper, like, the nurture sequences that you spoke
exactly.
about and all of those things, that it's not just down to them to refer all their friends, but you've got to be on the journey with them then,
Yeah, we
I think.
we didn't want it to be like a one and done thing. We wanted it to be that maybe you refer your next door neighbor this month, and then at Christmas you happen to be talking to a relative about broadband, and you could mention refer a friend then, and in a year's time maybe you make some new friends and you can talk to them about refer a friend. So there's no kind of time limit, and like you say, with our nurture sequence as well, with every successful referral we're reminding people to refer again. If they haven't made their first referral yet, we just touch base with them every now and then, encouraging them, reminding them how they can do it. So yeah, I think journey is a great word for it. We're kind of going on a journey with people that sign up as referrers, so that refer a friend almost becomes kind of part of their life.
Right. The best part of
The
their
best
life.
part, the best part of my life.
Yeah. I mean, this will show year round, but we are coming up to Christmas. Obviously, it's a time of year that people think of referral programs where they get their families. No, it isn't. But fine. Can I get on to my favorite? My favorite of the 10, QR codes. I'm slightly
Yes.
obsessed at the moment with QR codes. Um, but it's the oldest technology. Like, I shouldn't be terribly excited about something which has been around now for like a decade and everything. I think when QR codes first came out, um, they were a bit annoying and people didn't really understand them. And it's like, I could just type in the thing, it doesn't really make any sense. QR codes make so much sense for referral. It's unbelievable. That the idea, excuse me, the idea that absolutely people will share via email, they'll share via WhatsApp, all those kinds of things. But they are very, very unlikely to do it in the middle of a conversation.
Mhm.
But a face-to-face conversation that's already happening, where someone could just pull out their phone and go, "Scan this." It's so much more organic than, can I get your email address? Because I've got a link to send
Yes.
you."
Yeah.
Right? That barrier, although it doesn't seem like a massive barrier, we ask people's phone numbers and email addresses all the
Mhm.
time. Um, it feels weird, I think, when it comes to referring a product like yours. It feels like, can I sign you up to a mailing list? And what you're doing with a QR code is you're saying, I'm not taking anything from you. I'm not taking your email address and adding you to anything.
Yeah.
I'm just holding up a thing. You now are scanning that
Yeah.
thing, right? So you've encouraged them to actually take the first step in becoming a customer in the sharing process.
Mhm.
The sharing process already onboards them.
Yeah.
They've already done something. They've not waited for an email to come through and maybe they'll get to it tomorrow, maybe they'll get to it next week. They scanned it. They're going to, right then, right? Immediately, they're going to do the thing. And so what seems like a small little piece of functionality, actually, it's kind of a game changer.
Yeah.
Um, right.
So
Have you, please?
So we saw QR codes in the newsletter that Gideon sends round, and we
Uh-huh.
replied and asked to be like fast tracked up the list because we were so keen
Mm,
to get it in place. Because it comes back to Tube always wanting to provide the best customer experience, and we knew that, like you're saying, QR codes was going to streamline the customer experience of the program. Like you say, there'd be no more asking for maybe someone's phone number so that you could text them your QR code, or like you say, asking for their email so you could send it to them. We even allow our colleagues, employees, to be part of our Refer a Friend scheme. So if you're in the office, you don't have to ask for someone's email or their phone number. You can just turn around to your colleague and show them your QR code. And yeah, it just absolutely streamlines that process of referral.
right. And the conversion rates are, through the roof on the other side. Like I
Mhm.
say, because the friend has already begun.
Yeah.
They're like 95% of the time that will convert,
Yeah.
you know, which is ridiculous. Like, there's no other form of marketing which does that. But they've already started to sign up the second you get that QR code out and show them.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
done.
natural end to a conversation already about kind of toob and the refer a friend scheme is just to end by showing the QR code. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for doing it. More people do it, please. Right. Your program's really easy to find. I've written unbelievably enormous amounts of stuff on this before, like the different places that you might want to surface your program. Again, like I say, the top of the funnel is really important. And if people can't find the program, how on earth do you expect them to participate? But your program is literally in all of the places that you would expect to find it. And that's so important because you've got 30 seconds max of someone's
Yeah.
time. Like, if one of your existing customers goes, I need to refer Charles, right, let's find the referral program. First thing they're going to do, Google it.
Yeah.
Top Google result, there's your
Yeah.
program. It's there, right? Or I'm going to go to the website. Where will I find that? Oh, it's in the header. Yes, there it is. It's in the. Is it in the footer? Yes, it's in the footer. Is it in the counter? Yeah, it's everywhere that it should be. And I'm being far too enthusiastic about this, but genuinely, it makes me delighted.
We know our customers and we know that they want things to be easy to find and accessible, which is why we put our refer a friend scheme where we did on our website. And also, we not only wanted them to get to the page, but to stay on it. And we did our research on kind of how other people did their refer a friend schemes, and it would like send you off to an external page, or suddenly all the branding would look completely different. And what we loved was where we could put your embed on our page, on our site, so people felt like they were still with Toob and on Toob's page, and they didn't have to leave or go anywhere. They're always on our website, a familiar place that they trust. So yeah, not only getting them to the site, but keeping them there. Because like you say, people only have limited time. So if they don't think they're in the right place or they don't recognize it, they'll just click off. Whereas our campaign, we can really make it feel like us, which is what people were on our site for in the first place.
Yeah, because it is you.
Yeah.
And this is something I'm actually really big at. Again, I don't want to use these videos to talk about how excellent Buyapowa is. It kind of is, otherwise I go and work somewhere else. But from day one, since we started doing this, we had a really, really clear rule, which is we do not put ourselves between our clients and their customers. Friend landing page, all of those USPs, we kind of spoke about it before. But you do it, and you do all these really interesting USPs. So you talk about how many customers you already have. It's hugely important because that's social proof. It's like, you might be the first of your friends, apart from the fact that someone referred you, to use Toob, but you want to know that there are hundreds of thousands of other people in the country who are very happy doing it. That's really, really important. You talk about your symmetrical download and upload speed, which feels like a bit geeky, like a bit of a nerdy kind of thing, the sort of thing that people like me who are into cables, we care about. But that is not a niche thing to care about. Like, that's really important. So it's having those USPs on that friend landing page, and they are kind of USPs. Some of them are quite unique, right? So again, that page is selling to the friend. It's okay. Debbie sent you here, but now that you are here, look at what you've discovered. So it's great.
And we wanted it to be a balance between kind of the information to do with the refer a friend scheme and the process that they were about to enter into, and also kind of the reasons why that they should be buying with Toob. And like you say, our USPs, like about that we're full fiber broadband and it's symmetrical upload and download speed. So we used actually a lot of your guidance and support when we were doing the integration on what these pages should look like, what information they should contain, and how to get that balance right. So the friend didn't feel bombarded by sales information and completely pulled out of the fact that it was a referral process, but also making sure that all the key information that we feel like customers need in order to make the decision to buy with us was there and like very easily accessible and clear.
Yeah. It's perhaps the one compromise of a referral program, that your standard customer flow is interrupted. And let's be candid about that. Like, usually, most brands, they work really hard on their homepage,
Yeah.
right? Because it's super important. I totally get that.
Mhm.
Your friend landing page can't just be your
Yeah.
homepage. Some people try that. They just send friends directly to the homepage, but then the friend goes, "Did the thing happen?
Yes. Yeah,
This
absolutely.
right? Right? Did that get logged? Did that get
Mhm.
tracked? Like, there's no mention of the referrer's name on the page or anything to say I'm going to get a reward, and so people bounce straight away. So you have to send them to a friend landing page,
Yeah.
as we call them. But that friend landing page has got to do the same job that your homepage
Yeah.
does. That page that I know people at your company have spent months working
Yeah.
incredibly hard on, because it's everything to a business these days.
Well,
You got to do that on your referral program too. You can't just have, all right, you've arrived, fill in a form.
yeah. And like you say, the
Great.
personalization with their referrer's name and having their name on there, it's just all back to the point of building trust with the customer before they've even become a customer potentially, and building that relationship with them from the start.
You guys use what we call our consider purchase template, which is very, very nerdy. Um, but it's actually really, really important. And the idea, it's just a language thing more than anything,
Mhm.
but it's using the right words. And you guys do use the right words. Um, a friend doesn't just transact then and then necessarily, but they can lock in that offer. You use literally the language that we suggest, and I love it for that, because we did a lot of thinking about it. And it's what, as a consumer, because we are all consumers, it's what I would want to know. So my friend shares something with me. I go, all right, I'll check it out. Wow, that actually does look really, really good. However, I've got another 15 months left of the contract
Boom.
that I'm currently on, and I'm in absolutely no position to switch right now. And this isn't, North America, where perhaps the company might buy out my contract, although that's happening less and less these days as well. So I'm kind of stuck, which is a real shame, because my mate just referred this and now all their work is lost and I'm not going to get my reward. And I feel really sad about the whole thing. Oh, hang on. I don't need to at all. Fill in the form, lock in the offer, ready for me when I'm ready to
Mhm.
switch.
Yeah.
Um, Again, like I say, that's slightly like ninja level stuff. Um, but it shouldn't be. And particularly for products like yours, which are not impulse
Yeah.
purchases.
That's
Um,
exactly it. From our registrations of interest that we collect, we know that a lot of the reason why people don't purchase is, like you say, because they're stuck in contract. So we wanted to be able to, like you say, like lock in, give them the ability to lock in their reward before they could become a customer, because it would be the worst thing for that referral conversation to happen and the link to be shared and them say like, oh, I'm not ready now, but I'll come back and do it when I am. And like you say, 15 months later, they've completely forgotten about it. And then both parties have missed out. But if they can lock in the offer at the time, when they come to transact, that reward is ready and waiting for them. So again, it's just making sure that we're rewarding both the referrer and the friend when the friend is finally able to make their order.
Yeah, and it gives you guys a little bit more work to do, in the sense you have to nurture that person for 15
Yeah.
months. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to be sending them an email every 2 minutes going, "You ready
Yeah.
now? Are you ready now? You ready now?" So there's a balance, like, every month, 2 months, 3 months,
Mhm.
whatever. Every business is different, but whatever you think is appropriate, just to keep them simmering. Just remind them that, keep an eye on that
Yeah.
calendar. Oh, you're near the retention cliff, as it's
Mhm.
known. This is the moment,
Yeah.
and then you could sneak in there.
Just
Yeah.
don't forget about your reward.
No, don't forget about your reward, for heaven's sake. Right. I think I've got one more, which is it's really quick.
Yeah.
um, like your cooling off period is 14 days because that's all the cooling off period needs to
Mhm.
be. Um, it's not always the case. We have plenty of clients where it just has to be longer, and I completely understand that because people can cancel their contracts. In the case of a business like yours, you know, often a bit of engineering work is done or equipment is sent out. It's like when you're in, you're kind of in,
Mhm.
right? So there is no need for it to be any more than
Exactly.
14 days.
Yeah. We didn't want anyone to have to wait longer than they needed to, and we knew that also a scheme that makes you wait 30 days or even perhaps 60 days just might not have suited a lot of our customers. And we just think that it's a really nice treat when you've passed that 2-week cooling off period, hopefully enjoying all the benefits of full fiber and the router that we've sent out to you, that then we reward you for enjoying that 2 weeks with your voucher.
Yeah. And you actually prolong that magic kind of the magic period at the
Yeah.
beginning of a relationship as well, because you're right. Like those first 2 weeks, hopefully people are going, my internet is so good.
Yeah,
That's a joy for a few days, and then, just becomes part of the furniture and you don't get excited about it. But then you get little present.
yeah,
It's like, oh, okay. And then, of course, like you said before, you can get them to become referrers. And so maybe you can keep getting those presents.
exactly.
Let me finish up with just the stuff about you and how you feel about
Mhm.
referral, because that's always nice to know. So you've been doing it yourself for a fair
Yeah.
while now. Any big bullet points of advice for someone that maybe has never done this before?
It is such a great way to give back to your customers. It's kind of the feel good work, like I feel very lucky that this is my job to think of ways to like reward our customers. It's very fulfilling. So I would absolutely recommend introducing any kind of reward scheme for your customers if you don't have one. I would also say absolutely listen to the experts. We are in constant conversation with our client success manager about what's new, what they're working on, improvements that we can make. I always watch your webinars. I watch the myths debunked, that one. I
Oh,
watch what's new,
mm,
what's next, and we're always replying to those, asking to be bumped up on the list of all the new stuff coming out. So I would say also continuously develop it. Don't just launch it and kind of hope for it to succeed. You do have to put the work in, but where you're always working on new things, and a lot of them are plug and play for us as well. There's kind of no excuse to continually develop your program. Um, and then I will,
yeah, they get stale.
yeah,
They,
yeah, absolutely.
they will absolutely get
Um,
stale. So, like, even if it isn't doing the kind of the latest thing that we're talking about or whatever, mixing it up with one of the options that you didn't go for a year
yeah,
ago, but maybe switch it in for a month and try it.
absolutely,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
please continue.
And then just that time is just a really expensive resource. So even if what you've got works right now, it's not perhaps going to work forever. Like our scheme was never going to work forever for us. So kind of get on it sooner rather than later. Because the sooner you kind of go for it with a refer a friend scheme, the sooner you can get it embedded, the sooner you can make improvements and make it um, efficient. So yeah, just don't waste any time. Get on it.
It's very good advice. Um, where do you think it fits into the general kind of marketing mix referral these days? Do you think that's changing as well, or what are your thoughts on?
um, I think marketing's constantly changing. Um, we have changed a lot of our marketing, what we did kind of when I started, and I've been here for almost 3 years versus what we do now, I think is quite different. And then referral is almost kind of the added layer on the top. So our marketing team create out of home marketing, maybe billboards. They create ads that you would hear on the radio, or even I've seen a too bad at the cinema once. So they do kind of all the hard work to get all that marketing out there. But then referral is the final layer when people actually start to talk to each other about it, which is great. But it also means, like you say, that then referral also has to adapt just like marketing is, which is exactly why we introduced the QR codes, because like you say, we've moved away from maybe sending links to people in QR codes is now more of a trusted thing in this day and age. So just like our marketing adapts with the time, so does our referral scheme.
Yeah, and I often think sometimes referral is just it's the call to action on top of
Yeah.
all the marketing that can't have a call to action. You can't put a button on a billboard. I mean, you could put a URL, but I guarantee you no one's going to be typing it in.
Yeah.
Because no one does, right? You can do a radio ad, you can have an ad in this in the cinema, you can be on podcasts and all of those good things. I listen to an awful lot of podcasts
Yeah,
and
me too.
where you, right. So you'll know that people go, yeah, the link's in the show notes. And you go, what's a show note? I know what a show note is because I made podcasts and stuff, but no one looks at them. Right. So increasingly we're living in a world where actually the marketing channels that we're all using have fewer like clicky C2As than the marketing that we used 10, 15 years
Yeah.
ago. And referral I often like to think of as it actually literally just puts a link on a conversation.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Simple. Yeah. What have you referred yourself? Have you done any referral of anything which isn't toob?
So I actually took part in our Refer a Friend scheme, and I referred a colleague to toob, and we both enjoyed our reward. But I was referred by a friend to a banking app. So to sign up for like a current account with this provider, and I think it was something like a £50 reward, but just for them if I signed up, which was quite interesting, a one-sided reward. And then my incentive was then to become a referrer and refer someone else, and then I would win a reward. So it was quite one-sided, but I can see how they kind of tries to close the loop. But yeah, an interesting experience being a friend in that situation rather than a referrer. Although I was quite jealous of the person got their £50 reward, so it did work on me to then want to go reward and refer and get my own.
Yeah. I've seen things before where it is one-sided, where the two individuals go, we'll share it. And actually, a lot of the language these days that I encourage and Buyapowa encourages people to use is talking about sharing rewards anyway.
Yeah.
So in the case of you guys, it's £25 each way, I think.
Yeah,
Is that right?
that's right.
So you could talk about sharing £50 with your friends rather than, it gives you a bigger headline number, and that's always good. But yeah, the idea of sharing sometimes can sort of play a bit better than, or differently. But in their case, even if it's only one side, I'd be like, share the reward. We're going to send it to the referrer, but what you do with it after that is completely up to you. Is there any product that you would love to refer that you don't think has a referral product in your day-to-day life? What do you love?
I love Vinted. I am all about Vinted, buying clothes off of Vinted, selling clothes on Vinted. I am like Vinted mad. So if they had a refer a friend scheme that would earn me like credit to spend on Vinted, I would be their biggest ambassador. I can't tell you how many people I tell people about Vinted at the moment, already referring them, but I don't get anything. So yeah, if they could put some credit on my account so then I could spend even more on their platform, be even happier and refer even more people, I think they're really missing a trick there.
It's amazing, isn't it? When you ask people that and they go, I do it already.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of brands go, well, people do it already. So why would we spend any money on rewards? Because we're throwing money away there because it's happening already. And it's like, yeah, because we found Katie. And Katie is your super fan. All right. So Katie's doing it already. But there's a lot of people who aren't Katie who could become Katie. And more than that, wouldn't it be good to be able to measure all of this good work that Katie's doing? Like, to actually be able to track it to, like, she says, you don't know how many people she's told about Vinted, But what if actually, genuinely, she was responsible for 5,000 new customers a year? Wouldn't you kind of want to know that? So, like referral, another thing it does, it puts tracking
Yeah.
behind something,
Mhm.
which sure might happen organically, but wouldn't it be good to measure it?
Yeah, we've learned
Um,
so much about our customers from being able to track them through Refer a Friend and what they like and what they don't like and kind of how they talk to people and how soon those conversations seem to happen. So yeah, the
yeah.
tracking element is one of the best things.
Do you have any superstars? Have you got any superstar referrers who've done those and those and
Yeah,
those?
we call them super referrers. We do have a handful of them and they've got into the double figures, some of them. So
Right.
yeah, there's other Katies out there.